I was introduced to Rory probably about 2-3 years ago when somebody from Alcohol Focus Scotland, I can't remember his name now, I think it would be John, came to do a training with the counsellors. We're all trained counsellors at DAPO who specialise in alcohol and drugs. And I, at the moment, in actual fact, I'm working in one school in Fife full-time as a counsellor through the Scottish Attainment Challenge monies that the government has put into Fife. Before that, I was roaming through different schools from age of 3 right up to 18, working with young people. And in the past before that, I've also worked with adults. But I just loved Rory. I brought Rory along with me today because I absolutely love this wee puppet, this wee guy. I liked the idea of a wee puppy who was struggling to understand the relationship with his owner and how that could change with the introduction of a foreign substance, namely alcohol. I also liked the idea that Rory had his pal Felix, who was a big Alsatian, but he was really, really friendly. And that was my beginning and introduction to Rory. And I've loved him ever since. I read the stories, I look at the stories, I do the worksheets, but for me it's about the relationship these two wee guys bring to the clients that I work with. They just understand them. And I understand them because I think I'm in the same wavelength as a 3-year-old at times, you know. I just so fit into that whole on the floor stuff. Speaking with Rory, Rory came alive for me as well when I was working with Wheelings, when you were doing the worksheets and talking to them about how their day was. And it wasn't about how their day was with alcohol or anything else, it was about what their day was like and how they could relate to themselves and to the other people around about them. And that's what I found really useful about these worksheets. It wasn't anything particularly to do about looking at the relationship with parents particularly, but looking at relationships with everybody that came into their lives. And doing the wee quizzes, they loved the quizzes, and I loved the quizzes. And I've still got the original games came with Snakes and Ladders and Ludo, and I've still got them and I still play with them, you know, which the kids love and I love as well. And I've still got the original dice as well, after all these years. Speaking for myself, I think again, these worksheets became really important for me because it gave my wee clients a voice. They became empowered because they understood that, like Rory, it wasn't their fault what was happening in their lives. They could actually understand that. And that was really powerful for me because it was dead easy with these guys to do that. Rather than me sitting down and trying to explain something to a wee person, they did it for me, and the stories did it for me. And they would come to me, and one wee guy I was reading the book to, who was 6, kept on saying, alcohol's the right shite, isn't it? Excuse the language. I hope you're going to edit that bit out. But that was verbatim. And I said, yeah, it is. He says, I know, my mum's an alcoholic and my dad's an alcoholic and they didn't want me. You know, and that really touched me here. And then we got through that. You know, and this wee guy still plays with Rory and Felix and others, which I'll introduce later on. I'll put them there. Okay. So at the end of last year, we were invited back to Alcohol Focus Scotland again to explore and help with the pilot further Rory resources. And that's when I was introduced to Lila. See, I call her Lila, not Lila. Lila, because I'm originally Glasgow, but I'm from Fife now, you know, so Lila and Eric. And these guys are just wonderful as well. They just take over your life. My granddaughter, who's 2.5, often puts Eric on the naughty step, you know. So she's replaying her whole young history. And I thought that this was a real natural extension to the Rory books as Lila and Eric tackled or worked with really young. And the essence of these stories for me was it's okay to ask for help, you know, and that's a really important message because so many young people don't think they can ask for help. So many adults don't think they can ask for help, especially when you have an alcohol or drug addiction. And I think just these stories just encapsulate all of that. And when you look at the stories and read the stories, you'll see that. I like these because these take you through the feelings and the journeys of Lila and Eric. And they mirror sometimes what the clients that I'm working with, from age 3 right up to 12 in the school that I'm in. And they can identify very easily with Lila and Eric, as can I. They can also relate actually to what's happening with themselves. And I think that's really important because often they don't see themselves. And I think this resource allows them to hear and see themselves. And that's what's really important for me. And moving on to the teenagers, Adam and his friends. And I really like that because sometimes I liken teenagers to 2-year-olds. They're really mixed up and they're wanting to fit in, but they're also wanting to push the boundaries, and they just can't quite, they're lost somehow. And this resource really helps them to express how they're feeling. And it's good that they know that they're not alone in that feeling, that they can talk to somebody or they can talk to their friends or other people are in the same boat as themselves. And that's really important for me as well, for them to understand that. Because they're not in isolation then, and they can do something about it. All the worksheets here, breaking through the confusion, I've used them all. And I think they're really important for me, again, was when I was working with them, was that they were bringing up things nothing to do with alcohol and drugs. They were bringing up feelings about relationships, about how they are with their pals, how they are with their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whatever, how they are with their family, not just their mum and dad, but the rest of their family. And I think that's the beauty of this. It's so wide that it can be used for a lot of different things. And then if in doubt, got to ask yourself these questions. But again, these questions can be adapted for anything. It's not just about alcohol. They can be asked to be looking at anything here, which again I think is the thing that I was looking for and the things that I've used with my clients as well. I haven't got any older clients above 12 now, but certainly last year I certainly was working with 16, 17-year-olds. And we were substituting some of the alcohol questions for relationship questions because that's what they wanted to use it for. You know, I was also talking to them about Rory and Felix and Lila and Eric as well, and they were actually really interested. They loved the puppets, every single one of them, which I think is wonderful because these wee guys get you talking. And the impact of C.H.A.T on my service at DAPO. Well, a lot of counsellors in DAPO are now working with and asking me for the Rory resources. They're now beginning to realise that this resource can be used at all levels, including working with adults. Because what we're often finding was that we're working with guys that maybe 40, 50, 60 who have an emotional age of 5, 6 and 7 because of the traumatic experiences of their lives, you know. And we can use Rory and his friends to help that wee person inside, to help them grow. And that's really important. You know, because what we're looking at is people who have been traumatised, you know, and we often keep ourselves locked in that trauma by hiding, avoiding and using all the defence mechanisms from when we were that age. And alcohol often encompasses a lot of those hiding mechanisms. I like the big Rory book. I'm glad you've changed it though, because I didn't like the what do you call it, C.H.A.T. It was too harsh, I think. It's a lot softer now, which I liked. But I liked it because it was giving us a message out where things weren't easy. It's not easy to give up alcohol. It depends on their mindset. It depends on the support you get. It depends on who you are and what you want to do. And I think that book encapsulates that as well. Because he fails and he gets back up. He fails, he gets back up again. But with Rory's help and Felix's help. And I think that's wonderful. And DAPO, next month, DAPO's doing a CPD training on attachment processes and theory of attachment, of which I'm doing. And I'm going to use Rory, I'm going to incorporate Rory into that process of secure attachment because I think this is a really useful tool for that. To let them understand that actually you may grow up in insecure attachment processes and with them, but you can change that. And these wee guys can help that. Because you can talk to them, you can understand them. And by talking to them, you understand and talk to yourself. Okay? Thank you.